Team Teleport. Our uniqueness is self-made virtual universe with all roles of entertainment, business, and educational skills, etc. Our marketability is social media and social influencers, and also since it is a virtual reality, the youth will get addicted to it very easily. So it's not that complex to get it into the market. And according to scalability, we are thinking that our first prototype will be started with 15,000 of people, and then within 6 months we are gonna reach 3 lakhs. An impact, it can change the way of living. Means the introverts can become extroverts, and the persons who are feeling like loneliness and they can talk. We can be graphic designers and server building, and we are also gonna take a lead step forward to hire the ethical hackers to protect our product. That's it.
So I'm representing idea like little ones. And first, the uniqueness. I would like to talk about uniqueness of our app. Like till now, we thought about this app is basically about regarding the app. Like आज के बच्चे ही कल के भविष्य है. So it is fact. So till now, regarding babies, we thought like caretakers or play schools and so on. But we didn't thought or we didn't have heard about what we can do at early stage of the babies, like infant stage. I think most of the people did heard about palpation, right? In simple words, I can say like massage for babies. You can say what massage. So we know that for us and for our younger ones, for our adults, our grandparents used to do a proper massage up to 2 years of the babies to strengthen the bones. For the infants, after 3 months or 4 months, babies start digestive systems, right? So these palpation helps infants to develop their digestive system in a better rather than others. Like afterwards, we may provide the better food or better nutrition food. First, they should have a proper digestive system, and what they eat or what they live in their whatever they eat, they should get the strength from that. So this palpation will definitely help infants to get such a strength from this palpation, and this is the uniqueness because till now no one thought about this. And since we focus on the earlier stages of the baby, we can assure through palpation we can strengthen the bones and it may help for good digestive system of the babies. And market women, which means there will be third trimester, which means the woman will be pregnant around 7 to 8 months. In this generation, most of the women doesn't know about palpation because in this hurry life, everyone are busy with their working profession. Most of the women are working women, so they don't get enough time to spend with their babies. So at this time, at infant stage, they will lack of such things. So what we do is unofficially some women are hired for this palpation. So through this app, we are hiring such people and making the official employment and making the we are providing employment for the uneducated women who are capable and who have proper knowledge about palpation. And we can reach our targeted customers through meets in the MNCs, as like most of the women are working digital marketing. And next, scalability. First, we are focusing on like financial district, like where most of the women are working, and after that, we will slowly develop for the other states where not only the working women, most of the women doesn't know about this palpation.
First comes the uniqueness. It is a new way of learning that is not existing in many areas and going to benefit students in better understanding of concepts. When it comes to marketability, collaboration with big institutes like Akash and others will help in the marketing and publicity of this experimental idea. When it comes to scalability, holographic 3D display can be made very large using a modular system. If it is successful, it can be expanded to other small institutions. And when it comes to the impact on our society, even if it is a hologram, it obviously requires teachers for teaching. So it is going to make teaching of a complete hologram technology in an institution would cost around for 30 to 40 lakhs rupees. Thank you.
My idea is to invent a thermal device which is used to find the snakes. Uniqueness of idea. It can save lakhs of people. In India, more than 64,000 people per year die due to snake bites. Across world, more than 5.6 billion people die in the world. Marketability. More than 50. The product range. So the product is able to purchase by everyone. Scalability. Distributing up to 5.
Things like sleepers and food facilities and also some restrooms and marketability is we design an app and promote it through social media and also scalability is we highlight the benefits of our service and engage with the customers in social media and impact creating on societies due to the facilities we provide people will be able to feeling our service and funds period is nearly 10x.
So my marketing strategy will be and Instagram influencers and making people aware of the device and my the scalability of this device is in a single word I can best. In this case, what is my strategy is I'll best collaborate with such companies so that the production cost will be decreased. But due to some software modifications and the later on inventions like the more different qualities in my product will combine both together and we'll sell it at 15,000. So that will, however, if we sell it at 15 or 12,000 also we'll reach, like we'll get as expected.
Very good, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My idea is about starting an online education platform. And uniqueness is like other platforms like Unacademy and Byju's are a bit expensive. So this platform would provide education, quality education at cheaper cost. And the practice is providing quality education and scalability is I would like to start in the rural areas first. And marketing will make use of social media platforms and social influencers. Next, funding to set up an app or set the environment, I would require nearly 10 lakhs. Thank you.
Our idea is the numbers, in which we are going to every person's house and collecting the plastic and e-waste. So our uniqueness is accepting the metropolitan cities and if we see small cities or villages, at that places the waste is not collected accurately like plastic and e-waste. So we are targeting that things and making sure that everything is collected. So, and marketing, coming to marketing, we should probably save the time for every person. And as we are introducing an app to send the pickup location, so all can access this from their mobile, so we can get easily to the customers. And coming to the scalability, we are planning it to make first happen in small areas. So probably we'll reach stepwise. That's it. And impact of society will continue.
Yeah, coming to the impact of society, this impact is related to the environment and as by this the government will also implement big hand behind us. And so even though by implementing this, some other organizations will also give a big hand to join us. Coming to the funds, the key is we need funds to develop so many things like delivery and pickupping. Yeah, we need almost about 20 minutes.
I have a question for you.
Since you're an engineering student and in BVRIT, you must have seen that we use a lot of plastic. So what is your take on this?
Yes, the same thing applies to every organization. The organization must send us the pickup location and we send a scavenger or a rat pickers and they will collect all the waste, whatever waste that is. If it is plastic, it is separated. And e-waste,
What are you going to do with the plastic?
we will send it safely to the dump so that
How would you check this, whether the dump guys are really making a waste management out of this plastic or not?
And the project name is Subscribe Box. So the uniqueness is this is a totally new concept to this 21st generation. So it was never implemented before. So the attraction will be obviously good. And the marketability is as the present book is an OTT that people just sit in their home and chill. So I guess it will reach a lot of people, and at the same time the sales are going to be good. And scalability. It is going to be provided in large scale. Depending on the number of profiles that can be created, the subscription can be delivered. It could either be a website or we'll try to create an app.
So coming about the impact, as this is an entertainment app, there won't be much of an impact, but people can save some money and put them into some other productive works. And coming to funds, we would expect about 10 lakhs. One first is for buying these subscriptions, and second is for storing the ID cards, government ID card before providing the login credentials. So we would like a cloud server to store all the details. And also for each subscription, we would need a different phone number to purchase it. So we would also like some money for purchasing the SIM cards. Thank you.
I, Sumati.
And I am Harsha. I am hosting the afternoon session of EGA.
Now we should start the startup founder talks.
Now I invite the founder of Swap, Praveen Kota sir, to share his knowledge.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Let me thank the fellow engineers, or I can say, good to be entrepreneurs. So, actually, I envy people who never get fat. Who eat a lot, who doesn't do any physical activity, who eat a lot of sweets, consume a lot of calories, but they'll never get fat. I envy them. Relatively, they are 1% of the crowd, but rest of the 99% of us, we should be extremely careful about what we consume, or else what we eat, how we maintain our lifestyle. That represents us. So that's the point where I've started to think, why health and fitness space have been, a looped up sector, or as the grey area, which has not yet been impacted by technology, or as a major breakthrough from the last couple of years. So we have initiated our food vertical. So initially, we just want to be part of the health and fitness ecosystem. We started with establishing a food vertical in 2019, and this happened while I'm in my third year of my BTech. So we got the idea, then after that we got on working on the commercial part, business model, how we can take this off the ground, etc. So I've launched this company in fourth year with two of my co-founders in various departments like electronics and we are all engineers, but we are trying to penetrate into technology or different health and fitness sectors. The main idea is simple: how we can swap people or else add a healthier alternative, whether it might be in food or else in fitness space, etc. So 3 years, we started 3 years back in 2019, and this has been a roller coaster ride, I can say. Every day we'll be happy at one moment, sad, frustrated, excited. The day will be, kind of extremely pole graph. So, but at the end of the day, we'll be extremely satisfied of what we have done during the day, or else that we are trying to do something more or creating an impact in the society or users, I can see. So as of now, we are standing at 7 outlets strong in 3 cities, and we have been trying to expand to 100 more units in the next 3 years. From 5,000 rupees to a 15 crore valuation, this has been an extremely good journey, and I can say an exciting one. So basically, we approach things with an engineered mindset. If things go well, we don't like that. If things are pretty much comfortable and everything is nice, we don't like that. We need something challenging. We need to get up from the bed every morning, do something new. And if the processes are same, we try to build something new, something innovative, etc. So I can say that's an engineered mindset, and we try to inculcate that in every person possible in the culture of the company. And that's how we have been scaling from then on. If I can sum up the last 3 years of my journey, I can say in 3 points the major challenges or the lessons that I have learned. First thing would be always doing more with less. We are always very conservative. We are new to the startup world. So the main problem here is how we can achieve more and do more with the less team, or else with the less funds, or else with the less capital, whatever you can say. So we try to cut that down by 30% of the input, and how we can increase the output by 2x or 3x with how much lower that we can do for it. So building the startup has been always doing more with less. We can't have everything. And in the same way, we always try to make mistakes as fast as possible and iterate them faster than we do them. We can't avoid mistakes. We take a lot of decisions, whether it might be in terms of investment, in terms of operations, whatever that might be. But how fastly we can recognize them, how fastly we can iterate them, and how fast we can learn from them. And I guess that's the major breakthrough that we have found in the last 3 years. Make mistakes, recognize them, iterate them, and move forward. That's the second most takeaway that I can say. And third thing would be constructive criticism. Usually we do have a mentality that we are right, or else we know something that the team don't, but that's pretty much wrong 90% of the time. So we are extremely open to constructive criticism, I can say. We'll take a lot of inputs from the team. We'll have a decision-making process, we'll involve all of the core team members. We'll take decisions, implement them and get back. It is all about loop, you can say. So I guess those are the pretty much core things that I want to share with you today. It's been extremely great seeing a young bunch of engineers looking at entrepreneurship as a new stream after your college days or whatever that might be. Back then, when I used to in my college, people used to look at me like I'm some crazy person if I talk about entrepreneurship. I'm jobless or something. So yeah, it's been a great journey. Thank you so much for having me. And the last point would be, know what you are obsessed about and throw yourself into it. Whatever that might be, throw yourself into it. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
From MBA second year to share the profile of Sandeep sir.
He did his Bachelor of Arts in Kironmal College, University of Delhi, and did his MPhil in University of Cambridge. He has an experience as a planning officer, worked on a local plan, focusing on climate change, resilience, and sustainable built environment, and also has an experience as operations intern. He did process documentation and prepared planning policy suggestions to the government of India on a child-friendly built environment. Thank you.
The founder of Organicness, to share his valuable words.
A lot of enthusiasm to pursue entrepreneurship, even though you might have seen it's really tough to go out there and build something. But please do come and participate in this journey of entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurs are like soldiers for the economy. So without entrepreneurs, the growth of economy would be stagnant and it would be really hard for the government to do everything. So we need a lot of entrepreneurs for this country to build it. To talk about my journey a little bit, I was a social sciences student. Everybody like there is this stereotype where if you think of a startup founder, they usually assume you are from IIT or an engineer, at least. But I was none of them. I was a social science student, studied geography, history, economics, very boring subjects as other people see it, but I was fascinated by them, so I studied them at the university as well. I went to Delhi University, did my geography honors, if people know that course even exists. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the assurance. But I did that, and I went to Cambridge to do my MPhil in urban planning. I worked as a bureaucrat with the UK government for a brief period of time, did their environmental policy. Thank you. Field of healthy food. As Mr. Praveen was speaking, nutrition and healthy way of lifestyle has been somewhat overlooked in our country for some reason. I don't know. Like we were like really good at this. We at the grandparent stage where they were really conscious of what they're eating and the work they used to do. We used to like burn out the calories, but over the time we kind of forgot that knowledge and kind of really focused on pizzas and biryanis more. So I was. It was interesting for me to see a lot of organic food choices, a lot of chemical-free food choices in the UK and across the Europe. So I was like, why don't we have this in India? And that's why I started my first startup called Organicness, as you can see, as a marketplace for all the organic and natural products that are available in our country. There are 300 more brands who are offering those products, great products. So we thought, why don't we give them a strong retail alternative so that they could be able to kind of communicate their value propositions across the country. And we tried to scale them a lot. So we were initially really successful in terms of scaling the company. And from then on, we have faced a lot of brutal realities in terms of scaling the company, how hard it is, how much money we need to pour into scaling the company and all. So now we are kind of focusing more on the agri-tech part of the entire B2B procurement of these products itself. So we are kind of pivoting in a way where rather than focusing on the end customers, we are focusing on the businesses who are in this organic space. So that's what we are doing right now. And to kind of share my entrepreneurial lessons that I have picked up on the way. I mean, again, these are completely subjective and these are my own learning. So the first I would say is entrepreneurship is really hard, extremely hard. It's even harder than I think this. What's the mains and advanced now that people get into IITs. It's way harder than that. Let me assure you that. Because every day you have to go out there and perform. So it's not like you have started your company today and you have a team members who would do their operations and all of that, but still you need to strive to make everything work, to keep everything in place. So you better have a brave heart and really like strong resilience and a lot of patience, because otherwise entrepreneurship could really get on your nerve very, very quickly. You could really on the verge of giving up. So it is really good to have a strong heart, and this is not for fainted heart people. I'm not suggesting you to not get into it because it's hard, but I'm telling you to prepare for it because it's going to be tough. And the second point is, it's always about value creation. That's what I've learned. I thought it's for like, no matter the best technology you could ever create, no matter like you have the best people in your team or whatever, if you're not creating a great value out of your product, there is no point of a startup. So focus on the value creation rather than the technology. Technology is a mere, a mediation to create that value. So it's not about the technology in itself, but it's also about the value that the technology creates. And when we think about startups, we always think like a geek, a tech geek started from his own like hostel room and now it's making millions. That never happens. It always takes multiple iterations. There are no single shots. So how many of you know that YouTube started out as a dating company? As a dating company, yes. Now we have Tinder, Bumble, right? YouTube also started out as a dating site, basically. But how did they end up becoming an online video streaming company? That's because of iterations. They learn from their mistakes. So that is how entrepreneurship is. So it takes multiple iterations. There are no single shots. You go, you build the product, you go and interact with the customers. They say several things that you never expect. They criticize you, they criticize your product. So you take all those learnings and kind of put them into perspective and build something else. So that iteration has to be there. That's what entrepreneurship really is. It's not like wearing a shady coat and building tech. No. It is all about learning. And there is no one-man show when it comes to startups or when it comes to building an organization. Any organization doesn't have to be a startup, even NGO or anything. Teams build organizations. If you do not have great communication skills, please build them if you're a founder, because you might have to deal with a lot of people that you might not like, or you might not want to interact on a daily basis, but you have to because you're a founder of the company, right? So you need to get a way out. You need to learn. You need to educate yourself on handling and hiring, handling people, handling different types of behaviors on a day-to-day basis, because team and the greater team you have, the higher chance of your organization to be succeeding in what you're pursuing. So teams are extremely crucial. I couldn't stress more on that. And we think like there is so much glamour when it comes to startups, especially now. We see a lot of startups valuations at like billions of dollars, right? So we think it's all a paved road and very easy to do it. But like all this money and success that we see in the news and all these Forbes and Fortunes, we think money and PR can buy the success in entrepreneurship, but it's not. There are companies who have raised millions of dollars who went bankrupt. There are companies who went public also, who went bankrupt, because the money, the PR can never really buy the success for you. I mean, you can study the case study of SoftBank. Masa have put in like arrange $100 billion fund and trying to invest in all the companies across the world, including Uber, Lidi, and all of that. Most of the companies aren't doing well. They have invested $100 billion. So there you go. Money and PR can't buy you the success. So your work does, your value creation does, and your team does. And like earning money is the worst purpose to start a startup. Worst, because if you cannot see the money in first 2 years, you will leave it. If you cannot see the glamour, the articles being written on you, if you don't see that, you will leave it. So don't come for money, and don't come for that, being famous and all that, because you won't see them in first 2 or 3 years, and first 2 or 3 years you will be drained. With the work that you do every day, you will be drained. So you see no point, because you're not getting money, neither fame or anything. So do it for that crazy idea that you had in your mind, that the one problem that you want to solve and create an impact. To do startup for those, right? And that's what keeps you going. When things get tough, they will get tough eventually, and the clarity that you had initially at the beginning, that will keep you going. That will serve as a light at the end of the tunnel. Without that, you will give up, because without that clarity, I have seen most of my founder friends have given up because they did not have that. And the more we talk about doing in entrepreneurship, there is an other side of it, which is researching and a lot of preparation. So at the MNCs, you can see this, because before Reliance getting into any business, they do at least a market research of 2.5 years. It's the same with Tata, and if you wonder how this PwC, McKinsey, and Deloitte, all these people do, they do this for all these MNCs. They do insane amount of market research and data analysis. That's what you should do for your startups as well. Before starting your own company, go out, go into the market, be very precise on what you want to create, to whom you're creating for, and in what market you want to play. Without these parameters in place, you cannot build a sustainable long-term company. And there is this Roman saying which I really love. it goes, the more you train in the practice ground, the less you bleed in the battleground. This is exactly true for the startups as well. So please be as much as prepared as possible. You cannot be prepared for everything, obviously, but you have to have data in your hand. You have to have the data that gives you clarity on which market you are in and what you want to play, right? And entrepreneurship is especially not what do you call it? It's not a sprint. It's not like you run 100 meters and it's done. No, it's a marathon. It's going to go long. It's going to be brutal sometimes. There are going to be like wins, celebrations, obviously, but it's going to be long and tedious process. So if you are like short-term, and you can have a short-term mindset, but it should be up to the quarters or an year. But you cannot live as an entrepreneur with a short-term mindset. You need to see things going well in the long run because things gonna get tough. So if you do not have that outlook on after like 3 or 4 years how this company gonna look, after 5 years, after 10 years, and what I wanna create for that period of time, it's gonna be hard. So you are here for a marathon, not for a sprint. And the more we talk about like all the physical health that we need, entrepreneurship also demands mental health. If you do not have this mental health intact in place, the clarity of thought goes for a toss. If you cannot think if your thinking process doesn't have the clarity, you cannot really do much because every day you have to come to the office and produce results, produce sales, produce collaborations, produce or like take out high productive hours from your teammates. So you should have a lot of clarity, and that comes with a lot of mental health as well. So you need to take care of that. Without that, you will easily burn out. That hustle culture that a lot of people promotes is good for a while. It is really good to prepare for an exam. Hustling is really good for exams, but it doesn't really work in entrepreneurship because it's a very long-term game. You cannot burn out in the middle. So that mental health is really, really crucial. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's all about learning, as I've said. So having that open mind is really, really important. It's learning every way. I did not know how to run a digital.
I'm delighted to take an opportunity to introduce the guest of the day, Rajesh Kumar, sir, present CEO at IIC T-Hub, which is the largest innovative hub in the world. Other than this, he is known for his versatile personality. He's received Business Connect magazine, Bronze Certificate, Best Employee Award in 2007, Green Print Award in 2002, and many more. Now I would like to invite the philanthropist, mentor of Change publisher, Rajesh Kumar sir, to deliver his valuable speech.
One of the 78 incubators under the Atal Innovation Mission, we come under the Niti Aayog. So we work day in, day out with startups, helping people like you who come up with great ideas, dreams, and who can see through the unknown waters. And as a result of that, we produced a lot of entrepreneurs. And I mentored around 400 startups so far. And the 2 startups that you just heard about, I'm very proud and I take pride in telling that we had an opportunity to play a very good role, in making them what they are today. I don't measure success on the metrics of funding or metrics of valuations or unicorns, but the more startups that are at this stage that we produce as a nation, the more we will really prosper as a country, moving ahead in the GDP. If you guys remember, recently we crossed one of the very developed nations, in the GDP. Do you know which country we crossed? Any guesses? We recently crossed a country, right? We crossed UK. Yeah. So we have 3 more places to go forward in the chain. Okay. And that is only possible by creating more innovators and more entrepreneurs. Okay. So we have been doing good in terms of exports, imports, and IT we are doing good. But if at all, it's a huge jump to be honest with you. We crossed UK, now to jump the next 3 countries, it's not a joke. So that is only achieved only by new ideas, new innovation, new companies, more number of unicorns. Today we have so many unicorns coming out of the country, and we need so many more unicorns to come out. Who can really cater to the GDP of the country, who can be a great inspiration and flag ourselves, across different aspects where these GDPs are measured. So coming to the occasion of the day, so I've been seeing all of you coming up with a lot of ideas. Some of them were pitching, some of them were also asking, I need 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, okay, which is interesting. See, whatever exercise today you guys have done, okay, this exercise is so important. I tell you, though you did it in a lighter note, even large companies like Facebook's, Apple's, Google's, they do such activity inside their campus under their open innovation exercise. So what is this open innovation exercise is, Google always wants to know what is the future. Okay, as a company, XYZ company, you always want to know where is the future, and you want your employees or ecosystem or all those innovation inclined people to constantly come and brainstorm about new ideas. If so, such an idea can be done, what would be the challenges in terms of funding, how can that be scaled, how can that be built, what kind of tech is required. This is called brainstorming around ideas, which is a very, very important exercise for these MNCs, because they will lose the game. They will be out of business. They will no more exist if at all they are not innovating constantly, and if they are not coming up with new features, new ideas. See, already, if at all I give you an iPhone 4S or 5S today, will you use it? Will you love it? No, right? But at one point of time, these iPhone 4S, 5S are killer products. Okay, these are the products that have really shaken the market, and they have shown the world, what is UI and UX. But today you don't want to use 5X because now you have lot other demanding or competing products. So every company, every organization, every entity has to innovate, and for that this kind of brainstorming is very, very important. And you guys did a great job, but the only thing that you guys have to keep in mind is every idea is great. Okay, every idea is fantastic, but it has to be implemented or executed in such a way that it is scaled to an extent that it can become business. All ideas cannot become businesses, for various factors. Okay, I had one guy telling me that in the graveyard of execution, there are many tombs of ideas. Okay, there are so many ideas which don't work out. All those work out can flourish, and they can be scaled, and they can become businesses. Okay, so that is something you guys have to be very careful whether this idea is scalable or not. Okay, Oyo, right? Most of you know Oyo. So the founder has done a previous startup, okay, which he was part of a very reputed incubator in US, and after 6 months of rigorous work with eminent people, in the ecosystem in US, he realized that his idea is not scalable. Okay, what he did is he detached himself from that, came back to India, and after that he didn't know what to do. He just packed his stuff. He went to places to see India. Okay, so he went to many places from the south till the north, and a couple of times, he realized that, man, everywhere I am going, I need a place to sleep. I need some food. Okay, this has become the necessity of every place he is visiting. So eventually, over a period of time, he understood that why don't we have a shade or a alternative to hotels or an alternative to this restaurant model where people can quickly get an accommodation, live there for some time, eat something that is fresh and good, and move on. And from there comes the idea of OYO. Okay, so there's nothing wrong. Don't have too much attachment to your products. Sometimes your products are not scalable. Sometimes your products are not feasible in the industry that you are talking about or you want to target. So nothing wrong in that. But idea storming, brainstorming is very, very important because it brings you more and more ideas, to try, to work, to see, to form a business model around it, to see if they are scalable. And if at all scalable, there you go, that you can make it your life and you can be behind that. So like, Sandeep was mentioning, right? He was saying that, entrepreneurship is hard. But let me tell you, entrepreneurship is brutal. Okay, it is brutal. Okay, it doesn't care for your capabilities. It doesn't care for your emotions. It doesn't care whether you're married and you have responsibilities towards your kid, your wife, your life, your parent. It doesn't care if you have great degrees from Harvard, Stanford, IITs, IIMs. Dhirubhai Ambani did not go anywhere, but he is one of the top, industries of this country. So it doesn't care for your goals. While pursuing it, you are trying to understand it better every day. Okay, so that is how you keep going. It's like just like you might have heard a lot of people talking about self-realization. It is also a part of self-realization of the product or the company or the purpose that you really want to chase or make into your life. So as a part of that, every day is a test. Every day you get a grade. Every day you fail. Every day you pass. Okay. So that is constantly, you will be undergoing every day, for which you need a different kind of mindset, an open mindset, which is far from this institutional thinking. Okay, generally the way we think is, if at all, we get some 70% in an exam or something, we think like, okay man, I will do great in life. Even as a parent, even I'm a parent, we generally think like, okay, my kid will do great. No, he will not. And especially in the times like artificial intelligence, which is coming very fast. Creative jobs and jobs that involve lot of entrepreneurial activity are going to come up. They all monotonous, autonomous or automatable jobs will soon vanish with time, and there is so much space for creativity which you have to cultivate as young students or young entrepreneurs. That will take you a long way. And as most of the guys were mentioning, this trial and error, sometimes there is a hard fast methodology to open something or try something. Sometimes if you are in industry like semiconductors, if you are in industry like pharma, you will not have much people who have tried it, much people who have told you how to go forward with it. You have to lay your own path, which is the most difficult thing. Being a 2 times founder, I realized that all my education was useless when I was doing my entrepreneurship. Okay. Sorry.
Don't say they have exams.
No. You need your credentials. That's a really a good point. Your credentials will help you gain the necessary information, but how to use that information and apply to become what you want to become is a skill by itself. You have to try and tell others, and maybe some people we can bring. This event is all about telling you that for you to try all this, coming out of a company like Xilinx. Okay, Xilinx is a world's #1 semiconductor company. They were paying me well, treating me well, growing me well. Okay. But the reason I came out is I felt like maybe I'm not cut out for that. I'm cut out for something else. And I have undergone all the pains. In fact, I undergone more because at that time there was nobody coming like this, speaking about tips and trade secrets of entrepreneurship. Neither there are people like Bhupesh or anybody else who came from industry into academia with the responsibility that I have to reduce the bridge between these two things. There was nothing like that. But we all survived, we all excelled, and we sold our companies. And then I moved back again into my job life. I've been to US. I did my MBA there. I was a senior product guy with Amazon Pantry for quite some time. And then again the entrepreneurial insect started. Okay. And this time I had a kid. I just had a kid. And I came out of a company like Amazon. Like the way my friends tell is, you are an idiot. You're coming out of a company that grows even in recession. Okay. So they told me that you are crazy. But it's your life at the end of the day, and you want to be happy, right? Sometimes you have to fulfill your heart as well while you are working with your mind. So I've been to Stanford. I learned IoT product management there. I was lucky to work with a guy called Daniel Elizalde. He is today the world's top 5 IoT influencers. Who have done a lot. He's a Mexican who has done a lot of research in IoT. And he found out how you can build products using IoT. So we built an IoT based platform which can be used quickly to develop IoT products. And we ran it in US for 3 years. And it's been 2 years that I've been to India, and we got acquired as an organization by another organization. And since then I'm serving here. When I've seen my first incubator in my life, I've seen it after doing one company, after going to US, after doing my MBA. I've seen the first incubator of my life, which is called Lavan Entrepreneurship Center, which is in San Diego. Okay, so that is when I felt like, man, had these incubators, have presence in my country, many people wouldn't have struggled like me. Many people would have, really shined.
With these people who are so much connected. I'm also a social scientist spending almost 18 years of my life. And again, I'm also connected to food. Both the entrepreneurs are from food. So it makes more connect for me. And again, I was also a food entrepreneur. I had my own factory for almost 11 years. So a lot of connects. And again, as my farmer role as director for food and agriculture, it makes more sense. And giving nostalgia. I'd love to work with you, gentlemen, for the benefit of everyone, and also the people on the DAS. And we are going to have a wonderful technology business incubator being inaugurated on 21st of December, and where we have also the food tech as per the client focus that will be in BVRIT. Irrespective of anything, no boundaries and no distances. We are going to incubate any ideas in them. So please be a part of us, and also we'll be loving to work with, as always, with Rajesh and team, and will extend all support for you. And on behalf of the management of BVRIT and also all these fresh minds here, we sincerely extend our thanks for being here. And big thanks to Tia and Shavan and all others. And anyway, so one maybe a submission to you guys. A small submission to Rajesh and Shavan and team. We would love to conduct this session a little elaborate for our kids as a follow-up, because it was a wonderful event for us. Though we brought it was very receptive, I think. I think you guys enjoyed it? Yes, sir. Great. So, there's a yes from them. So maybe I'll take the liberty to invite you guys both, and me and Manisha madam, because she's the one who's the director of the students affairs and she was also the same opinion. So we both take the liberty to invite you for a little more longer sessions, and then maybe a 2-day workshop for all these kids where they can learn a lot, and we'll be happy to host you again. And again, you guys, please do and come and be with us and guide us more. So that's what. And the second thing I want to tell you all is that lots of learnings, lots of thought exchanges happen here today. But anyway, we will be documenting it. And for the organizers, big thanks to Vivek. You guys have done a wonderful job, especially Chandra sir. And then okay, big thanks to Srinivas sir and all the student club participants here. So all the student club heads who have been here, who have been doing a wonderful job. But one request from my end and Manisha madam's end. Please do continue this coordinated efforts forever. We are only enablers. We will be able to conduct and organize such events. It's all yours to take it. There are good evening people here who are ready to extend any help for us. Right? Please let's all take these opportunities, and any improvement or anything you want, how do you feel it, maybe I think Shavan will be posting the feedback form on that on the screen. Take a picture of the QR code. Please send us your comments and your experiences on this event. But then, however, from our end, from all your teachers in and then madam's side, we'll be planning for a little longer session, maybe for a day, only on these business modeling and entrepreneurship, maybe for a day or two. So please do again come and participate. Okay, and then again, maybe the last one.
Surprise.
Yes.
Guys, you're not asking for it. Surprise. What was the surprise? Ask for it.
Okay. Shavan has given Shavan and madam, and also that gentleman gave me a pose. He always says, "You come and do." Okay. So they gave me a task of announcing who are those after all the teams, the successful teams who will be mentored by T-Hub and also TBI, Vishwa TBI, our TBI first. So first of all, a big round of applause to all of us. Take it from me, when I studied the management, the first pitch I made was such crappy, my teacher said, "Get lost." And I'm never joking. And the first, news item I wrote, he torn it and then threw it in the dustbin. He said, "Don't come to my next class." Still, I remember, he's my mentor, Pradeep Mathur. I'll never forget. Always mentors are really, they are the guys who really take you to success. But then here, I see these 3 and 4 gentlemen as mentors. Let's all take them as mentors. Anyway, we will come back to you to have you all as mentors for our entrepreneurs and our TBI. So let's take all the lessons, whatever they are given, seriously. And we are there to support or nurture your ideas. Okay? So now, before I announce what the announcement, maybe we have screened all the 20 ideas, out of which we have selected around 7 ideas. All the winners will be given with a certificate from T-Hub, and we will be visiting T-Hub. The next step, you will be given time, or they are going to have a pitch in the month of January. Anyone it's about to their take, and they may select 1 or 2, and they will be given a chance to pitch in their event. And the third one, there will be, if you are successful, you can be a part of their masterclass. Okay, so here we go. The first, maybe some winners, everyone is a winner. The selected team. The first one is the BVRIT.
Yeah, please come here. Maybe we can have a picture with all of us. Maybe you may need to stand for a while. Please be quick, my dears. Your Kisan census. The fourth one, that we are experiencing. The fifth one, where is that brave lady, hologram? Always, as always, your captain, Mr. Madam. Thank you so much for organizing. And all the clubs, let's do such events which will nurture a lot of new ideas. Thank you so much. And
of ethics, HODs, and faculty members, and my fellow students. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of MBA department and the entire BVRIT, I would like to extend embracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. A big thank you to our principal sir for his efforts towards providing students with helpful events. And also thank to Rajesh sir for demonstrating views on T-Hub startups, entrepreneurship, sharing your journey and motivating us. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Chaitanya Shravan sir for his explanation about T-Hub and sharing experience as well of your startup, Swap, and encouraging us. I also wish to express my gratitude to Sandeep sir for sharing your journey and boosting us. Thank you so much, sir. We are all inspired by your great words. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record hearty thanks to Manisha ma'am and Bhupesh sir and the faculty of MBA department for the perfect logistics support and guidance. My deep sense of thanks and appreciation goes to all the participants who attended this event and shared your innovative ideas with great enthusiasm and made today's event a great success. I can't thank everyone enough, including technical, media, and other organizing members for their involvement